not feelings.
It's facts, not feelings. Wanted to be the hero, but turned into the villain. Something like the Penguin, never like Bruce Wayne. I came from the gutter, not addicted to the fame, but the streets know my name, beat them at their own game. 20 years later, claim the head of the table. I'm my brother's keeper, but more Cain than Abel. Eliminate your bloodline, I'm the tribal boss. I murdered so many tribes, call it tribe Lord wrong. It's a scary story, son and all these rappers sending them the moral. Never did it for the glory or the hot taste, did it for Grandma Ruby, who said I was special right out the gate. So continue to hate where you failed to see. You took your best shot and you bricked your three. The BSO legacy like the Bulls dynasty. My G, it looks like you need some milk. Let me call RG3. These are facts, not feelings. 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 It's the headline king, Robin Littal. This is facts, not feelings. This is facts, not feelings. I know you was bobbing your head. Don't lie to me. I know you were. Do you mind if I tell you a story before I get to Ryan Day, who has clearly added some gray hair to my beard? It was 15 years ago that I covered my first credential event for Black Sports Online. I had covered events before, but never under my own brand. I was very young back then, in my early 20s. Didn't really know what I was doing. And the event was the Manny Pacquiao fight against Ricky Hatton in Las Vegas. Remember it like it was yesterday, mainly because we thought Manny Pacquiao had murdered Ricky Hatton in the ring. But that's another, that doesn't have anything to do with this story. I was lost on my first day there in Vegas trying to find the media area for the reporters. A nice gentleman helped lead me to the media center, and I walked in, and I have to admit, I was a little bit overwhelmed by everything that was going on. So I was just kind of standing there, just standing around, not exactly knowing what to do, what not to do. And while I was standing there, I was watching a group of, I think they were Filipino or maybe Asian reporters. You know, it had an international flair to it because Manny's from the Philippines and Ricky Hatton's from the UK. So they were international reporters. And they were taking pictures, I believe, with Oscar De La Hoya. You know, like fan pictures, selfies, and things of that nature. And while I was watching them, Bernard Hopkins, the great B-Hop, the executioner, the alien, came up to me, asked me, you know, who I was, what I was doing here, et cetera, et cetera. I told him, you know, my goal at that time for Black Sports Online and what I was doing and what I was trying to achieve and everything. And he pointed to those international reporters. And he said, you see those reporters right there taking those pictures and those selfies with everybody? He said, if I ever see you doing that, I kick you out of the media area. And if you ever met Bernard Hopkins, he says everything with purpose. So he wasn't joking. So if I ever see you acting like that, I'll kick you out. Says we have to be 2, 3, 4, 5 times better because of who we are. If you know what I'm talking about. So we're not afforded some of these luxuries that other reporters are afforded in regard to their fandom. And on that day, my fandom had died for sports in general. The reason why is because I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be a successful journalist. I wanted to make BSO successful. So I listened to people when they gave me advice. And up until then, just like you are now, I was a fan. I was a fan of many teams and many players. A fan of the Cowboys, the fan of the Kobe Lakers, a fan of Michael Jordan. I was a fan. Ironically, as a little kid, I was a big fan of Michigan because of the Fab Five and Desmond Howard. I felt like they were for the culture, back then. But on that day, I decided that I can no longer be a fan. One of the things that were going to set me apart from others was I was always going to be unbiased. I always was going to remember what Bernard told me. That's why you don't see a lot of pictures of me with celebrities and athletes, even though I've met hundreds, thousands of them over the years. Not saying it was right or wrong, but it's just the path that I chose. And I laid my foundation on being unbiased. I laid my foundation on looking at the situation, not the individuals. I laid my foundation on if I say something to you, I'm not talking to you out of emotion. I'm talking to you with a clear head, a clear understanding, and facts, not feelings. So when Ryan Day and my Ohio State Buckeyes lost to Michigan this weekend, who didn't have their best offensive or best defensive player on the team. And this was the first time since I set foot on the Ohio State campus almost 20 years ago that I have ever experienced a 4-game losing streak to Michigan. My emotions got the best of me. I said Ryan Day needed to get to stepping. It's right there on Twitter. I wanted him out of here. I wanted him gone. I was putting up Christmas lights in a bad mood all day. I didn't want to talk to anybody. My dogs even stayed away from me. My emotions from a sport had put me in a bad mood. Then I sat back, crossed my arms, and said, Rob, this is why fans are crazy. You guys have to be out of your goddamn mind to be a fan. What is wrong with you guys? Fan is short for fanatic. Why in the world would anybody want to feel like this? Multiple times throughout the year. I'm an Ohio State alum. I have a degree from Ohio State. So for 12 to 15 weeks a year, I have these little emotional ups and downs. And actually, because Ohio State is a relatively powerhouse team, twice a year, I have these type of emotions. You're a Cleveland Brown fan. You're an LA Clippers fan. You're a Chicago White Sox. How are you dealing with this? All year long. All year long. It's not right. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. It is not good to be a fan. I would not recommend it. I felt my blood pressure going up. It's unacceptable. I don't know how you guys do it. And I like to think I'm one of the more reasonable fans. I talk to the ops. We have conversations about things. We discuss it in a somewhat rational way. And my whole day was ruined. I'm still feeling some type of way about it. I don't know how you guys do it on a yearly basis. Some of you have multiple teams. How can you have more than one? I don't understand it. It's not good for your health. Once I calmed down, had a little wine, settled myself a bit, I started to think about Ryan Day and what's the best route going forward. You have to understand, some of you will, some of you won't. You have to understand, in the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, beating the other team means more than anything else. more than national championships, more than Rose Bowls, any bowl, more than beating Penn State or Michigan State or whatever it may be. If you beat Ohio State or you beat Michigan that year, you won. So even though Michigan is going to the Ranch Doritos Bowl, they've won. They've won the year. They've won the year for 4 years in a row. And I can't blame Connor Stallions for this loss. That's a very unusual thing in sports. In most sports, you can lose a series, you can lose a game, but as long as you win the championship, no, nothing else matters. The Raiders last year beat the Chiefs. Nobody cares. Chiefs won the Super Bowl. If the Ravens were to win the Super Bowl this year, nobody would care that they lost to the Eagles or lost to the Steelers or the Raiders. Nobody cares. Baseball is such a long season, you lose games, it doesn't matter. I can't tell you if the Dodgers beat the Arizona Diamondbacks in a random 4-game series in July. Doesn't matter. But with Ohio State and Michigan, that's all that matters. And I think that makes it a better rivalry than any other rivalry in sport. Because the Yankees and the Red Sox can play 20 times. But if the Red Sox wins the World Series, then who cares if the Yankees won the regular season series? It doesn't work like that. It only works like that with Ohio State and Michigan. So Ryan Day has already lost the year. The question begs, should he lose his job? You have to look at this rationally, but also through the context of the rivalry. The first thing you need to understand is that karma doesn't exist. Karma doesn't exist. The bad guy wins a lot. The bad guy wins a lot. The cheater wins a lot. So karma doesn't exist. I knew when Ohio State hired Urban Meyer that we were sacrificing something. We were sacrificing something morally to get something bigger, which was a championship. Now, I even shouldn't say bigger, just we were sacrificing morals for a championship. Urban Meyer's not a good person. I'm not the only person that is going to say this. If you just go look around, a lot of people say Urban Meyer's not a good guy, a terrible person, a horrible individual. But what he can do is win championships. He's won everywhere he's went. He's won championships where everywhere he's went. He beat Michigan and he got us a championship. So in that regard, people are willing to look the other way. Ryan Day's a solid guy. He's a good guy. He's a good person. He has good morals. The players like him. But are we willing to sacrifice morals for Michigan? Morals for a championship? And if we are, who's the person that's out there that we're willing to make that sacrifice for? Because you have to have a replacement. You can't just get rid of somebody and bring in somebody that's not as good. And then you also have to take into consideration what's more important. Ohio State's a juggernaut. And we've been a juggernaut for a pretty long period stretch here. Some like 25 years. We're getting 9 to 10 wins. It's so funny about Ohio State is oftentimes when we're playing a team, no matter what that team is, it says this team is 0 and 19 or 1 and 19 against top 10 opponents, or they're 2 and 25 against top 5 opponents. And then one win out of like 20 times of trying is against Ohio State. But we're always, we beat them 19 times. It's like, oh, they won once back in 1987. They won once in 1994. Oh, 2011, they caught up with us. We're on the bar. If you're beating Ohio State, you're normally beating the top 10 school. We're Bama. We're Clemson. We're Georgia. We're Michigan sometimes. I mean, Michigan hasn't had as good of a run for 20 plus years as us. So you have to have someone that is going to keep that standard in, and then also, beat Michigan. Is there someone out there like that who can do it? Mike Vrabel is someone that has been mentioned. The reason that he may be successful is he's an asshole. Once again, karma doesn't exist. Maybe an asshole coach is what we need. Sometimes being a good guy is not It's not good. Doesn't work. You know the phrase, good guys always finish last? You know, that's a cliche, but eh, Ryan Day is under extreme amount of pressure. Ohio State's going to get in the playoffs because we're a very good team. We have the number one defense in the country. We have offensive weapons all over the field. We laid an egg, a dud against Michigan. A game that easily, if you watch back, we should have won by 3 touchdowns. But he has a chance for redemption. And isn't that how life works? Isn't life beautiful in that way? He's going to have a likely home game against an SEC opponent. Maybe Tennessee, maybe Bama. But just the fact that it's someone from the SEC, this is going to tell, I guess, everyone exactly where we're at with Ryan Day. He has to push this thing through. At least one playoff win. Ideally, winning the whole thing will not take all the pain away, but it'll take a lot. This is it. This is make or break. When you want to play with the big boys, these are the things that happen. This is not coaching at Wisconsin. No offense. This is not coaching at Iowa. No offense. This is not Ole Miss. No offense. This is not Texas A&M. No offense. This is not Utah. No offense. This is where the big boys play. This is LeBron levels. This is Steph levels. This is Mahomes levels. This is Lamar Jackson levels. This is Shohei levels. This is Aaron Judge levels. The expectation is higher. It means more. I like Ryan Day. You know, I have a lot of good relationships with the university. He's a solid dude. I want him to succeed. I want the good guy to win. But there's only so much, even I, the most unbiased sports reporter that you know in America, can take. You're holding on by a thread. You're holding on by a thread. I hope you pull through. This is the time that I let you know that we're sponsored by absolutely no one yet. Coming, though. It's coming. It's getting these shows up and running. It's coming. If you can subscribe, you can help me out. You can subscribe on all of your podcast, channels, Spotify, Apple, Good Pods, wherever you want to be. Just look for the Headline King with Robert Littal and Facts Not Feelings with Robert Littal. And also subscribe to Daniel Bell's podcast, The Final Bell. And also, all of these videos go up on BSO's YouTube, BSO TV. So be sure to subscribe to that. Leave some comments. I've been getting a lot of comments on what we did last week. I appreciate you. I try to respond to each and every comment on all the social media spaces and all the podcast places as well. You guys have a beautiful day.